வணக்கம் எல்லாரும் என் பேரு தாமஸ் எனக்கு 23 வயசு
So guys, today I'm with Thomas and we are both Malaysians and we speak multiple languages. So Thomas, can you tell me what languages you speak?
Speak English, Malay, Mandarin, Cantonese, Dutch, French and a little bit of Tamil.
So 7.
Yeah. And you? You speak 6 languages?
I speak 6. So I speak English, Malay, French, Tamil, Spanish and Italian. And today we're going to be talking about language learning and how we learn our languages. So the first thing that I want to know is why did you want to learn these languages?
So growing up, I only spoke one language, which is Chinese. And when I was 15, YouTube started getting really popular. Then I learned English from just watching YouTube.
Seriously?
Most of it is YouTube. Of course, I spoke with my dad.
Oh, okay.
And some language schools, but mostly it's YouTube. So after learning English, I realized that it opened up so many doors.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, language is like a key. So if you get a new key, you get to open more doors.
That's a nice analogy.
So from that realization, I started to get interested in what languages people are speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I picked up Cantonese just by passively listening.
Oh.
And of course Malay because we learned it in school.
Yeah.
I'm not that good in that yet.
I'm so curious to know why you wanted to learn Tamil.
So in 2021, I learned Dutch in 1 year.
Okay.
And in 2022, I learned French in 1 year.
Okay.
So
Amazing.
I thought, okay, 2023, what am I going to learn? I was thinking maybe Spanish or German because it's easier to learn. Why I chose Tamil is because, to put it frankly, I want to be more Malaysian.
Oh.
I feel like if I can speak the 3 main languages in Malaysia, you will be able to understand each other much more. And also, I grew up with Indians and Malay friends who speak Chinese.
Oh.
So, there are so many Indian people who speak Chinese, but can you actually find a Chinese person who can speak Tamil?
No, you're the first one that I've met.
And you, how good is your French?
Je parle français couramment parce que ça fait 6 ans que j'étudie en France. Du coup, je dirais que c'est vraiment ma deuxième langue, quoi.
Yeah, what about Spanish and Italian? How did you learn them?
So I picked up Spanish and Italian in university and also because I love both languages so much. And something like you, I wanted to learn the triptych Latin languages, French, Spanish, Italian. So when you learn Dutch and French and Tamil by yourself, how did you do it?
Very simple, in one sentence, sit down and study.
That's spoken like a true Asian.
Yes, and also a lot of speaking. Just don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Just go out and speak with someone. I also got conversation partners in which we speak for 30 minutes in one language and 30 minutes in another language.
And where did you meet these people?
There are multiple places where you can find these. There are forums. On
Okay.
Reddit you can find as well. I would say the challenge is to find someone who is suitable for you. Because first you need to find someone who is at about the same level. So for example, when I was learning Dutch, I found a Dutch girl who wants to learn Mandarin. And we are at about the same level. So I can teach her Mandarin and then she can speak to me in Dutch. And for the second, both of you need to have the same amount of motivation because this language learning takes a lot of time,
I agree.
a lot of dedication.
A lot of discipline.
Really.
It's not easy, and I think if you take all the people who speak multiple languages, maybe only like 1% of them are just talented naturally. Language learning takes a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of hours that you put in as well. But what you said just now was very interesting about not being afraid to speak, because I feel like that is the biggest hurdle. When I was speaking up French, I was so insecure about my accent and I was also afraid of making mistakes. And the moment I changed that mindset, I improved so much better.
It's still something that I'm struggling with. This morning when I was trying to speak French, it's still like this mental hurdle that you need to overcome. It's very natural to just speak in English because
Of course.
you just fall back into your
Of
comfort
course.
zone.
But we're just establishing that language learning is fun, but it is difficult.
It is very difficult. So for an English speaker, Dutch is ranked as one of the easiest language to learn.
Okay.
But still, even though it's the easiest language, it is still a language. which means it's still gonna take a lot of hours.
So even if Dutch is the easiest language for English speakers to pick up, I can guarantee that it's not that easy. And you can check out this video that we made with me pronouncing or trying to pronounce words in Dutch. I guarantee it would be very hilarious. One thing that I got a lot in France is people saying that Malaysians speak pretty good English and also that we are good with languages.
I also heard this a lot,
Yeah.
especially from people from Hong Kong and Taiwan.
Okay.
Yes, we do speak multiple languages, but how well do we speak? I would say not very well. If you ask a Chinese person if they speak Malay, yeah, of course everyone speaks Malay. But I do have a friend who got A+ in SPM in Malay, and then she told me when the postman came to her house, she wants to say something to the postman, but nothing came out of her mouth.
Yeah, there is a difference between like being good at learning a language and being able to speak it well. However, I do think, in my opinion, that Malaysians are relatively good in languages just because we learn at least 2 languages growing up. I grew up speaking English with my family, but we had Malay classes since we were 7. So even if my Malay is not amazing or like I probably couldn't give like a formal speech in Malay, but I can converse with people. Which brings me to my next question. What does it mean to you when you say you can speak a language?
Donc, je vais essayer de répondre en français.
Okay.
Pour moi, quand je dis oh, je parle une langue, ça te dit je peux exprimer ce que dans ma tête sans beaucoup de pensée. Je fais encore beaucoup de fautes en grammaire. Si je peux m'exprimer, ça c'est assez.
You can basically just communicate with others.
Without thinking. Yeah, I can say what's on my mind. I can never write an email in French. Like in proper French, no. But I can, for example, talk with a French person at a bar.
For me, I think it's when I can get around in that country where the language is spoken. Because I wanted to pick it up for like traveling purposes as well.
I once met a university professor who speaks 10 languages. But he told me that he speaks 6. Because he can only give a lecture in only 6 languages.
Only 6 languages?
Yes, so he has professional proficiency in 6 languages.
Right.
That he can give a lecture in. And that's how he defines speaking a language. So I think you should just give your own definition. So if you just want to speak enough of a language to be able to talk with people on the street, then it's enough for you.
Could you give us a tip on how to learn a language besides studying hard?
It is studying hard. So what I did when I learned French, Dutch and Tamil is that I set aside an hour or 30 minutes every single day to just practice the language. And the key here is every day.
Yeah.
Because with repetition, your brain just will start get used to the new language and you will pick up words in a more productive manner. But if you just go for French classes for 2 hours every week, then you only learn intensely during that 2 hours.
Yeah.
But the next week when you're back in class again, you will forget most of it because for the past 6 days you do not do anything that's related with French.
So basically consistency is key. I'm not as disciplined as you. I can't put aside 30 minutes every day. So instead I pay someone to do it for me. So I pay a tutor. And at the same time I was also following classes at university. So on the side, my tutor helped me with my schoolwork related to the language. And I also set aside 30 minutes twice a week to just converse in the language. But just forcing myself to speak and removing that fear and trying to converse, that is what helped me progress the most. I took classes at university and I also took classes on this website called italki.
For me, I don't really go to classes. Well, I have done it, but it's not really effective for me. I just prefer learning by myself with a book.
Yeah.
Or just learning from watching YouTube. And then I will also get someone to practice speaking with me. But that is when I ask questions. So when I have things that I don't understand, I ask it during this time.
I think what's important is knowing how you learn best and then tailoring your language learning journey to that.
Everyone will have their own methods and you need to take your time to slowly find out what works and what doesn't work for you.
Do you think that speaking more languages helps you learn another language faster?
Yes, very much. So learning a language is like learning a musical instrument. So when you know how to play a violin, then it's easier for you to play the guitar. because you understand the very basics. For example, now that I speak French, it will be much easier for me to learn another Romance language. For
Yeah.
example, Spanish or Romanian or Italian. And it will also help you to pronounce different words much easier because
Yeah.
different languages have different ways of pronouncing things. And when you get your mouth and your throat to do all sorts of different things, it's much easier when you learn a new language with a specific sound. For example, in Dutch, where there's a sound. Yeah.
That's a reflex, you know. Right?
What do you enjoy the most about learning a language?
I like everything else that comes with it, meaning the culture of the people who speak that language, different norms, history, a lot about art, a lot about like the French Revolution when I was studying French. So I would say the cultural aspect that comes with learning a language.
You will also learn about how they think. For example,
Exactly.
if I ask a French person in English, how are you? And then they answer me yes. So if you don't speak French, you will have
Yeah.
no idea why they answer yes
Yes.
to how are you. I have another example. I was talking to a Dutch lady. She was telling me that, oh, last week she went to somewhere with her girlfriend, and then tomorrow she's going to somewhere with a boyfriend. And then I was like so confused because like, oh wow, you got a boyfriend and you got a girlfriend. But no, that's how Dutch people speak.
Alright.
A female friend
It's
a girlfriend.
Right.
Yes.
So we reached the end of the video. Let us know what you like in the comment section down below. Et j'espère vous voir dans la prochaine vidéo. Ciao!